Day 63 reading. Strategy 1. Choose a difficult task, but not too difficult. Suffer's model encourages us to take on tasks that we have a chance of completing, but that are slightly outside or our comfort zone. Every task, sport, or job has a set of rules, and we need a set of skills to follow them. If the rules were completing a task or achieving a purpose are too basic relative to our skill set, we will likely get bored. Activities that are too easy lead to apathy. If, on the other hand, we assign ourselves a task that is too difficult, we won't have the skill to complete it and will almost certainly give up and feel frustrated to boot. The ideal is to find a middle path, something aligned with our abilities but just a bit of stretch so we experience it as a challenge. This is what Ernest Hemingway meant when he said, "Sometimes I write better than I can." We want to see challenges through the end because we enjoy the feeling of pushing ourselves. Bertrand Russell expressed a similar idea when he said, "To be able to concentrate for a considerable amount of time is essential to difficult achievement." If you are a graphic designer, learn a new software program for your next project. If you are a programmer, use a new programming language. If you are a dancer, try to incorporate into your next routine a movement that has seemed impossible for years. Add a little something extra, something that takes you out of your comfort zone. Even doing something as simple as reading means following certain rules, having certain abilities and knowledge. If we set out to read a book on quantum mechanics for specialties in physics without being specialist in physical ourselves, will probably give up after a few minutes. On the other end of the spectrum, if we already know anything a book has to tell us, we'll get bored right away. However, if the book is appropriate to our knowledge and abilities and builds on what we really know, we'll immerse ourselves in our reading and time will flow. This pleasure and satisfaction are evidence that we are in tune with our ikigai. Like easy boredom, challenging flow, beyond our abilities anxiety. Strategy 2. Have a clear concrete objective. Video games played in moderation, board games, and sports are great ways to achieve flow because the objective tends to be very clear. Beat your rival or your own record while following a set of explicitly defined rules. Unfortunately, the objective isn't quite is clear in most situations. According to a study by Boston Consulting Group, when asked about their bosses, the number one complaint of employees at multinational corporates in that they don't communicate the team's mission clearly, and that as a result the employees don't know what their objectives are. What often happens, especially in big companies, is that the exclusives get lost in the detail of obsessive planning, creating strategies to hide the fact that they don't have a clear objective. It's like heading out to sea with a map but no destination. It is much more important to have a compass pointing to a concrete objective than to have a map. Toy Ito, director of the MIT Media Lab, encourages us to use the principle of compass over maps as a tool to navigate our world of uncertainty. In the book Whiplash, How to Survive Our Faster Future, he and Jeff Howe write. In an increasingly unpredictable world moving ever more quickly, a detailed map may lead you deep into the wood at an uncertainty high cost. A good compass through will always take you where you need to go. It doesn't mean that you should start your journey without any idea where you are going. What it does mean is understanding that while the path to your goal may not be straight, you will finish faster and more efficiently than you would have if you had trudged along a pre-planned route. In business, the creative professions and education alike, it's important to reflect on what we hope to achieve before starting to work, study, or make something. We should ask ourselves questions as such as, what is my objective for today's session in the studio? How many words am I going to write today for the article coming out next month? What is my team's mission? How fast will I set the metronome tomorrow in order to play that sonata at an allegro tempo by the end of the week? Having a clear objective is important in achieving flow, but we else have to know how to leave it behind when we get down to business. Once the journey has begun, we should keep this objective in mind without obsessing over it. When Olympic athletes compete for a gold medal, they can't stop to think how pretty the medal is. They have to be present in the moment, they have to flow. If they lose focus for a second, thinking how proud they'll be show the medal to their parents, they'll almost certainly commit an error at the critical moment and will not win the competition. One common example of this is writer's block. Imagine that a writer has to finish a novel in 3 months. The objective is clear. The problem is that the writer can't stop obsessing over it. Every day she wakes up thinking, I have to write that novel. And every day she sets about reading the newspaper and cleaning the house. Every evening she feels frustrated and promises she'll get to work the next day. Days, weeks, and months passed, and the writer still hasn't gotten anything down on the page. When all it would have taken was to sit down and get that first word out, then the second to flow with the project, expressing her ikigai. As soon as you take this first small step, your anxiety will disappear and you will achieve a pleasant flow in the activity you are doing. Getting back to Albert Einstein, a happy man is too satisfied with the present to dwell on the future. Vague object is confusion, time and energy wasted on meaningless tasks, and clearing defined objective and a focus on a process is called the flow. Obsessive desire to achieve a goal while ignoring process. Fixation on the objective rather than getting down to business. Mental block, flow and mental block. Thank you so much. Here the strategy 1 and strategy 2 are